Right. Hello. I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm not all over the place. My brain is actually intact this time. I'm on time. The world is good. As you all know, Christmas is coming, which is obviously all well and good. It means lots of laughter and food and lots of alcohol and lots of time off work for most people, not me. But yeah, so it's all good. But I needed to take this opportunity of a webinar to warn you about something that coincides with the Christmas period, which is cuffing season. So you may or may not have heard of cuffing season, but yes, it is on the back of the fact that it is like an analogy made from being handcuffed. It does not mean that you are particularly kinky around Christmas time. You may be, that's up to you. But what it means is you are vulnerable to be tied into a relationship, any kind of contract, a fad diet. Your mum is like your toxic pat family, like all ready to kind of whip you under their spell. You are vulnerable for being cuffing. So I've got a few tips to help you get through this cuffing. Tis the season to not be able to talk, apparently. Through this cuffing season. So tip number 1. I'm going to start with the kind of dating thing. Tip number 1, stay off Tinder until March, forever if possible, but until March at least. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever other dating sites, apps, whatever that there are now, all are literally feeding grounds for abusive people, abusive men particularly, that want to use even little bits of your profile. Obviously, I did speak on this before in a different webinar, but it's a Christmas version. They will use even the stuff in your bio to be able to kind of get you under their spell. And when it's Christmas, we're all in this kind of vulnerable, childlike phase where we are distracted by tinsel and fairy lights, and we all think it's suddenly acceptable to sit on random men's knees with beards, and the norm is just completely out the window. You can have a Prosecco with breakfast, that's fine now. That's another point, we're all drunk, kind of at least 60-70% of the Christmas period. So stay off Tinder. You're gonna be making some crazy mistakes if you go on Tinder. And when you're on Tinder, if you can't follow that advice, that's fine. I understand. It's not that easy, especially in the midst of a pandemic, to meet people. But if you can't stay off, then at least stay woke. Stay vigilant. Understand that Bill Smith from Bradford, whose picture is him holding a massive fish, does not want to snuggle with you under the fire and watch Love Actually. It's just something he's saying. I have been on Tinder, a little while since I've been on Tinder. I'm not too sure if it was over the Christmas period, but they all say shit like that. I just want to cuddle. They don't want to cuddle. Don't get me wrong, men can be cuddly, and that tends to be kind of a byproduct of all the other stuff that comes. They don't want to snuggle up with you in front of the fire. They can't stand Love Actually. They don't want to watch Elf and be cute. They don't want to go around the Christmas market and sip Bailey's hot chocolates with you, with all the Marshies and whipped cream, and take Instagram photos. Just actually think about it. If you can't stay off the dating sites, then at least be cautious of what you listen to. Actually, understand that there's a script anyway that a lot of abusive people follow, but there is a Christmas script. And they tend to include, yes, snuggling up in front of the fire, certain Christmas movies, something to do with mistletoe, something to do with going and decorating the tree together. Bailey's hot chocolate may be involved. Christmas market with a hot dog and a massive beer may also be involved. Let's go to Winter Wonderland and get on the big, whatever it's called. Not Ferris wheel. Is it Ferris wheel? Whatever. Anything that you see in a movie and they say that that's what they want to do, chances are they don't want to do it, and it's a line. And the reason it's called cuffing season is they'll get you snapped up now during this season, and as we all know with abusive people, it's not very easy to leave. So you're then stuck with them in January, the longest 31 days ever. Then you've got February, where you've got cuffing season number 2, which is Valentine's Day. And you know, it's March until you can get away potentially, and by that point you're pretty much imprisoned. So yes, that is my one tip. That's probably my only tip, actually, to be fair, when it comes to toxic people. Just be careful. Just listen to like, actually just think about it. Don't just go, "Aww, he must just love me so much." Oh, and if he says that in your Christmas card after like 1 week, big old red flag. But yeah, and then when it comes to diets, just because they've now created a COVID vaccine does not mean that it's possible that they've now created that magic pill that's going to enable you to eat 12 million mince pies and stay lean as. It doesn't exist, and it probably will never exist, and if it did, I imagine it would be full of thermogenics, which would be very, very dangerous. So you are about to be vulnerable to the marketing of diet culture, where they will tell you that now that it's 2022, you want to get your shit together because you've just eaten like a pig, so you should feel terrible about yourself now. And then they'll kind of bring all of that out of you, where you might have felt alright, you might have felt all comfortable and just full and like whatever, it was a Christmas period, and then they make you dwell on it, and you're sitting there going, oh shit, yeah, I did eat quite a lot, oh shit, I've got a lot of work to do actually now. So they know that. They know that you're thinking that. They know that they can pick at those kind of pressure points and get you to sign up. So just be wary. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It's either, if that's something that you want to do and start doing self-work, weight loss, anything like that, I personally, plugging in my own advertisement here, I personally would say get a coach. I'd personally say get a coach. The only kind of catch to getting a coach is that they're not as cheap as that, you know, £8 skinny coffee that you think is going to make you look fantastic, but they actually will help with your kind of weight loss journey or fat loss journey or anything like that. But also, something to point out, I do think times are changing, and I do think if you do have a goal for 2022 and it is something to do with changing your body, I do think you should also, whether it's on your own back, getting a coach, whatever, look at doing it in a way that protects your relationship with food. I'm really hoping that this is the last year that kind of disordered eating is such like a massive thing, because people are starting to realise that there's more to life than being size 4. So yeah, so in regards to diets, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So yes, you are vulnerable during cuffing season of people feeling like they can snap you up. On the side step to that, you are also in a vulnerable position for all the MLM pyramid schemes, all the you buy my Juice Plus and sell it on, and then you'll make X amount of money, and we'll tell you that it's your own business and that you're a businesswoman and a momtrepreneur and a stay-at-home yummy mummy that sells Juice Plus, when actually they don't educate you on any kind of the mental side of things or how it could affect you in other ways. So you are also, because your skin after Christmas and because you feel shit and because you probably gained a few pounds, by the way, top tip that not a lot of people will tell you, when you step on those scales on January the 2nd or whatever and it says you've gained 8 pounds, that's a bit scary. It seems I have a spirit in my room. Don't worry, like they can't like take over me. It's fine. But anyway, ignore that. Not sure what's going on there. Do you know what I think that was? I think that was like the fitness gods about to tell you off. They were actually like coming at me there for the fact I was about to tell you something that's a bit of like a secret in the industry. Just like how Walt Disney wasn't happy about it last time. Bit weird. Anyway, so when you step on those scales on January the 2nd, let's see if it happens again, and you are 8 pound lighter. Holy shit, I've gained 8 pound in the space of 2 days of bad eating. What the fuck, I need to go and get Slimming World and go shopping for Weight Watchers and stuff like that. Okay, you can't put on 8 pound of fat in 2 days of bad eating. You can't. Like, yes, you are 8 pound heavier, but all that means is you weigh 8 pound more. But so it would be like the equivalent of 8 pound for someone to pick you up. So that's one thing. And the second thing is you can't put on 8 pound of fat in two days of bad eating, 3 days of bad eating. Like, that is water weight. You cut down your salt, you cut down your sugar, you drink a lot of water, and that will literally come off in no time. You may have gained like a little bit if you've been eating bad continually, but what the kind of the diet culture bank on you doing is going shit, I've eaten loads, let me get on the scales, and then you see that massive weight gain. Well, it's not, but what seems like a massive weight gain in such a small period of time, and then you go, right, I'm spending my Christmas money on this starvation thing, and then you'll go, oh great, I've lost 6 pound in a week, oh great, I've lost another this, that and the other, and then as soon as you start eating normally, then it will come back on again, because one, you've starved, so your sugar level's going to be all everywhere. 2, your relationship with food isn't fixed. Completely going off on a tangent, but you get the gist. This is where you're in a vulnerable position in cuffing season. In the same with the toxic family. As we all know, or I have explained, maybe, have I? I don't know. I'm sure I have. If you follow me on Instagram, I definitely have. Most people that end up being drawn to toxic men have usually had a toxic family member / toxic family / unhealthy, like, upbringing. So when it comes to Christmas, you are then obviously going back and seeing your family. You're obviously, a lot of people are, especially this year, fuck you, Boris. Despite what he says, everyone's going to be going and seeing their family. And that will include probably the toxic ones that you've managed to avoid. And believe me, that family member knows that as well, that it's cuffing season. They use this to their advantage as well. It's Christmas, how could you be so mean to me? Secondly, a lot of, you'll find with narcissists and toxic people, they have to make a song and dance over big periods of time. So if it's someone's birthday, if it's a funeral, if it's something like that, they have to do something to draw attention to themselves. So just get ready for that and don't be vulnerable to it. Just know it's coming. I'm telling you now, it's coming. So if on Christmas Day your mum has a strop, has a cry, does something crazy to draw attention to herself, that is on purpose. And what do we do with toxic people? We ignore them. So as soon as anything like that happens, that is when you use your grey rock, which basically means, I'll go into this in more detail, if you are someone that has an abusive family member or have been in an abusive relationship or has to, heaven forbid, co-parent with a toxic person, feel free to drop me a message if you've got any questions and I'll obviously answer them. But yeah, so they will try and draw attention to themselves. So if that happens, there is a technique called grey rock, which is where you are as boring as a grey rock. So you just go off and go play with your new toys, or you just go off and go and do something else. Don't pander to it. Don't get too involved in it. But yeah, it'll also be that whole, just deal with the behaviour because that's your mum, or that's your sister, or that's it's Christmas. Oh, can't you just let it slide this once because it's Christmas? No. Hold your boundaries, because if you don't, this is where yet again you are susceptible to being cuffed. So make sure, despite the fact it's Christmas, despite the fact that we are all hypnotised by mistletoes and fairy lights and mulled wine, hold your boundaries. We are not like making any changes just because it's the Christmas period, just because you've not seen them since last Christmas, just because you've not this, that and the other. Even if you don't want to see them and they go, but it's Christmas, you need to come and see us. No, if your boundary is that you no longer want to spend time with them, that is your boundary and you should stick to it, because there is more to cuffing season than just, a lot of people are dating, which is what people think it is. It's that you're in a vulnerable position because people use the Christmas period. People know they can use the Christmas period to prey on that vulnerability. So, I think this is a lot shorter than the other ones, but hopefully it was helpful. And obviously I will get another one up in a couple of weeks. If you have any requests or any questions or anything like that, as always, just feel free to message me or write on the post and I will get back to you. But how long is Christmas away? It's like 15 days. So that means your next one's due on like Christmas Eve. I'll say Happy Christmas now just in case, but otherwise I'll see you on Christmas Eve. Bye.